Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. This reading is intended for the sign of Taurus. If you're watching for Taurus reverse roles, and it should resonate whenever you find it. No extended on this one, and I'm just reading whatever I see, whatever messages come out for you, whether it's love, general, or however. So Taurus, looking at the bottom of your deck, it seems as though there's something you've been doing a lot of thinking about. I feel like you were trying really hard to include other people in your life or in your plans, but it feels like you're met with disappointment. It looks like there's something that you could have been really excited about at one time, and it feels like when you talk to other people about it, perhaps you didn't get the type of reassurance you wanted. It feels like because of that, that activated some doubts that perhaps you have within yourself. I would say the caution here is to be mindful of allowing people to kind of rain on your parade, because it almost looks like you were looking for some sort of reassurance from someone else or advice. And perhaps you didn't hear what you wanted out of this conversation, right? I do feel like if someone is not supporting you at this time the way that you had hoped, or they're not treating you the way that you imagined they would based on what you've brought to the table, that it's very possible this person has some kind of motive that you're unaware of. I don't think it's particularly just about you. And I feel like you'll be discovering that soon. So that's kind of the background of what Spirit wants to talk about right now. It looks like you have a decision that you're in the process of making. You may be having to decide if you want to continue to give a specific person your time or a situation your time. I feel like for all the work you've put into it, you don't feel as though you have a lot to show for this situation. And your obstacle here is actually that whatever this situation is that's kind of occupying your mind at the time is keeping you away from what you could have. Okay, there's kind of this energy of needing to take some time out, needing to take a break. You could be feeling some exhaustion due to whatever this kind of big situation is that it feels like you were trying to talk to people about or get some kind of clarity on. This could definitely be in regards to a love situation, but this could also have to do with like problems at work. It feels like there's something about this that was unfair. And I think you're trying to figure out how to handle it or what to do next. It feels like this is occupying so much of your headspace, though, that you might be missing out on other opportunities. So let's take a look. Okay. So for some of you, this does have to do with work, and this is about like a stability situation. You could be having problems with a colleague. You could be waiting on a promotion or a change of schedule and feeling like it's not coming. I think that whatever this is, even if it's not work, it could be love. This is making you feel as though you're going to have to set some real boundaries with this situation. And so perhaps that's why you were looking for support from people in your life. I think that for that, though, this is going to have to be something that you decide what to do with independently, because it looks like it really only affects you. And so if you're not getting the kind of advice that you want to hear from other people, it may be time to stop talking to other people about your problems for the time being, because it kind of looks like you're looking for people to say something specific. And if they're not saying it, then you feel a certain way. But in all honesty, you don't need anybody to co-sign your decision, right? And I think that that's a little bit difficult for you. For some reason, I'm seeing here there's some issues around like insecurity and having to kind of step out and do your own thing or make your own choices. Like it's a little bit easier if you have someone else. It's like, do this, do that, or oh my God, I would never put up with that, right? But it's almost like you're not getting anything from people. Maybe you feel like people are kind of ignoring you when you're talking about your problems, right? And so that could be really frustrating to you, because it seems like you're a very, very good listener when it comes to your friends having problems. I'm looking at the past. And it feels like whatever this is that you've been contemplating is something that you really invested a lot of time in. And it's getting to the point where you're not seeing a return on this. And I think you're really trying to figure out why. And that could be affecting your self esteem a little bit too. And so that could be why you're looking for reassurance from other people. It looks to me like you've been contemplating what life would be like if you did something different, but you're still in the process of trying to hash out what exactly that looks like. With this moon energy, I know that you really just want to be happy. I feel like, unfortunately, you're kind of hiding certain things about the situation from yourself because even though you've been doing a lot of contemplating, you're not allowing yourself to really go deep into your emotions. And I feel like that, again, has to do with you perhaps not liking the feeling of being insecure, right? Now, this could pertain to an Aries because we do have our Emperor here. There is an energy of feeling like you want some sort of like reassurance or reconciliation with someone, or at the very least, you want things to just be okay. You want to know that things are okay between the two of you. I feel like you may have been the person that got upset last time around. And so that too could be why you're asking people, like, well, would you have done that? Would you have said that? Because it's almost like something small could have taken place and you kind of snapped, right? And did something a little bit out of character. But what I'll say about that is like, when you get to that place, oftentimes it's because somebody's walked over your boundaries so many times that it just builds, right? You getting upset like that is almost like an unexpressed boundary that needed to come out, but just didn't, because it's harder to set those as time goes on. And so it's almost like you kind of just said, F it, and you got mad, right? You got upset. And in that moment, you didn't care what anybody thought, which is very uncharacteristic of you. But now you're kind of dealing with the aftermath of like, whoa, is this a situation that's salvageable? Is this something that I overreacted? Let me tell my side of the story. I tried to fix things for a really long time and nothing worked, right? And I guess what I'll say about that is it's not your job to always have to be the one that's like putting up with other people's stuff or that's calm and cool and collected, right? I'm a little bit curious as to why, if people are not like backing you, that could be, because I did see a vested interest. Okay, so this could possibly be something about a friend group, or if you have a partner, maybe your friends are also friends with that partner, because there's somebody, whoever this is, that's not like backing you. They are trying to avoid a conflict in the sense that either they did the exact same thing that you did lately, and they're like kind of hiding that from you because they don't want to express to you that you're the same. And I'm not sure if that's just because this person is very, competitive with you. That's what I was going to say. Or it's possible that people feel like this outburst that you kind of had was like overdue, but they don't want to get involved. Okay. It feels as though you have a lot of people in your life, Taurus, that compare themselves to you, but then they have a tendency to kind of down you for the choices that you make. And it's weird because I think behind the scenes, what you don't realize is that a lot of people wish they were more like you, or they wish that they had what you have. But then they have this way of treating you like, I don't know if people treat you like you can't function, or if they treat you like you're just being very whimsical, or you don't have like the gumption to follow through. It's almost like people have this tendency to kind of like dismiss you, right? Or to treat you as though you're not the Taurian energy that you are, right? Like Taurus is very strong, but they're very gentle people. That's why I love Taurus so much. My son is a Taurus. And they're just some of the like kindest people, but they're just very, very strong, right? If you guys put your mind to something, you will persevere. Whether it takes you a long time or a short time, that doesn't matter. You're not going to waver. Whereas it kind of feels like the people coming through in this reading have a tendency to write you off, or to expect you to never like step into that Taurus energy of being a strong figure, right? Just being kind of a pushover. And so I feel like that's something that probably every Taurus has to face in their life at some time. It's probably like a lifelong lesson because you guys are so sweet and kind, right? That gets like taken for granted or looked at like you're weak. And I think all of you eventually kind of have to move out of that sidekick energy and step into the leader role, right? Where you find the balance between being, you know, your nature, which is so kind and so gentle, and also that other aspect of your nature, which is very determined and very, very strong and sometimes abrupt, sometimes quite blunt, right? I feel as though, and I'm not trying to upset you, but there are people I feel like that are kind of waiting on your downfall. So if this has to do with work, there are people that are not wanting to side with you because they're actually hoping that you will get in trouble, right? And I think that's because you've got people looking at you like, well, Taurus isn't the golden child. Taurus isn't as great as they seem. There's a lot of jealousy within your spread. So I just want you to be mindful that if people are not backing you or supporting you at this time, it's very possible it's just because people don't want to support you in the sense that they're envious, right? It's like, oh, Taurus finally has a problem. Perfect Taurus. I'm not helping perfect Taurus. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's some envy here. And so I feel like with what I'm seeing as far as what Spirit's got going on for you and your advice card, now is the time for you to kind of be that support system for yourself. I think you guys have some phony people around you. And I think that whatever the situation is, right, that caused you to react the way you did, it's actually going to expose some of these people's motives as time goes on. And you're looking for support or you're talking about your feelings. The way that people react to you, I would trust that, right? Don't allow people to come back later and be like, oh, well, you know, I was having an off day. Like, the universe is trying to expose people to you because it feels as though you have some people on your team that are not exactly who they appear to be, right? Um, there are people who perhaps you confide in and they give you advice, but you're giving too much weight to these people who, in all honesty, don't really have your best interest in mind. So I feel like in the bigger scheme of things, that's why this happened, was so that you could start really scrutinizing the kinds of friends you have, the kinds of situations you're putting yourself in. Because there's people here that they're envious of you, you know, and so if you think you have this crew of people that you can really ask for advice, it's very possible the advice they're giving is steering you astray, right? And it's sad because I don't feel like you would ever do that to somebody. And so you're not expecting people to do that for you. But it's very possible that whatever people are telling you is making you feel insecure about yourself, but it's also keeping you from moving forward. Um, your advice is the Five of Pentacles. So I feel like rather than looking to someone else to be like, hey, you know, what do you think I was mean or whatever, like it's time for you to get into this Emperor energy and make some serious cuts about who you're paying attention to, right? Who are you giving your time to as well? Because there's an energy here of you always being available to the point it's like almost at your detriment. But then when something is really bothering you, it feels like you're met with kind of this lukewarm, like, oh, yeah, that sucks. Oh, too bad. Right. So maybe spend time looking for people that match your vibe. Or if you don't have the bandwidth to like go out and physically find people, it might be a good time to just open yourself up to the idea of meeting new people, right? Because your advice is to start cutting people out, matching energy with people, okay? As far as love, it looks like you could have two choices at this time. I feel like with everything that you've been through lately, because it looks like you kind of just got out of something that was really draining and a little bit toxic, you're not in a huge rush, right, to move on with any person, even though it looks like you have some options here. It looks like you're not trying to explain yourself. Perhaps your last partner was very critical of you with some of the cards I'm seeing here. Spirit is bringing someone new into your life. Unfortunately, you're going to have to be very, I would just say cautious, not in the sense that you're in any danger or anything, but there is one person that's not as good of a match for you if you're dealing with two people. The moon in the reverse, it's very possible that the Pisces, if there's a Pisces in the mix, or a Leo, they may not be what you need. Okay, it looks like the Aries is probably a better choice for you at this time. Yeah, you should perhaps go with the Aries is what I'm seeing here. Even though this person for some reason feels like they'd be kind of a bit of work, it looks like to me the Pisces just isn't wanting a relationship, but there's also something about them that they're showing you that either makes you feel like it's reminiscent of something you've been through, or they're keeping from you the fact that they don't want a relationship because they're waiting to possibly reconcile with someone else. So just for those of you who are dating and interested in love, I want to let you know you don't have the whole story for whoever the Pisces energy is. And then as far as your Aries, you might not even be excited about being with this person because there's something about them that's also very familiar, but that person is a soulmate, and you got the Lovers and Six of Cups. Wow. So it's very possible that this is kind of like your next relationship, right? And that might be something that you cannot outrun simply because it looks like you guys have some kind of soul tie to one another. And so with Five of Pentacles being your advice for that, it's very possible that, there's that commitment there that you've made with one another's soul to come into each other's life at a time when you're both doing a lot of purging. You're both kind of down on your luck or feeling let down by people. And it seems like you're supposed to help each other heal. Okay. So just for those of you who are interested in love, because I see two people for love, let's first get an oracle love message just for you for advice. So let's see. All right. Acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times, we must accept things as they are. There is no point trying to change that which is beyond our control. Wow. Let's get one for this water energy. I'm seeing if you're not dealing with a Pisces, could be a Cancer or Scorpio as well, but we have Moon here. So let's get one for them. Look inside yourself, examine what is causing you to feel this way. So it feels like you're already kind of getting some intuitive hits about your Pisces or your water sign. And with that, I would say, again, be mindful in talking to other people because people are going to give you the advice that they resonate with, right? So if you're saying like, isn't it kind of weird this person did that? Someone might be like, oh, no, it's fine. But what's for them is not for you, right? So if people are like giving you advice to never mind your feelings or that you're overreacting, I would not feed into that as much as I would like check in with myself and be like, okay, why do I feel this way about this person? All right, let's get one for the Aries or for the fire sign that I'm seeing here. So Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And then I'm going to pull you a finance oracle and some self-care cards. Okay, when you pass from this world, you take nothing with you but your soul and the memories you shared with those you love. And you also got twin flames, your passion ignites. Oh my goodness. Aries might be in a weird space of like not exactly what you want, because this to me looks like finance is kind of bad, right? And so you might be looking at this other person like, they seem like a better match for where I'm at. But do you have more fun with this other person is kind of what it is. Like, do you feel the connection more. Bottom of your deck is balance. Love is not always about agreeing just for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both challenges and supports. And that really is that twin flame energy, right? So I feel like you have a twin flame in your midst. All right. So for your financial oracle, you got sever vows of poverty. Dear one, there's no need to suffer or sacrifice. Hold the intention of undoing any vows of poverty or self-denial that you may have made, consciously or unconsciously in any lifetime. As you do so, all effects of these vows will be undone for everyone involved in all directions of time. So, you started off on that Two of Pentacles. Your advice is Five of Pentacles. It's very possible that for some of you, you were like a nun or a monk or something in a previous life. And so if you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're always struggling with money, it could very well be that in that past life, you made that vow of like, forsaking material things, right? And it's weird that with your twin flame, you actually got something that was talking about forsaking material possessions, or like them perhaps not having all the material possessions. So it could very well be that you're looking for a partner who has a better financial situation than you do, because it seems like your financial situation's rocky. But Spirit is saying rather than do that, if you can just meditate on like releasing that, because subconsciously we often carry like things from past lives into the life we're in now. And it really does affect us energetically. If you can fix your money problem, you would probably feel better about dating this Emperor Aries energy, right? Because then your money would be sustained like through yourself, rather than fearing that you have to find like that specific partner. And it's very possible with this being a soulmate or a twin flame that in that life, right, you could have known that person, taken that vow, not been able to be with them because of your faith, right, or whatever it was. And now in this life, you're getting an opportunity to do it over, right, and not be like in that situation where you couldn't be together. And so maybe they're coming towards you as something that's a little bit triggering, right? Which would be like, oh my God, I don't want to be broke, or I don't want to have financial problems. But as soon as you work on this, that will actually lift from this person as well. And you'll see a change in their financial situation too. So let's get some self-care cards for you. Wisdom. Let go of the need to control. Trust in the wisdom of a divine plan. And revelation. Listen to your life. The right path will reveal itself. And that's exactly it. Don't worry too much about what other people think. I don't think this is the time. Sometimes advice is helpful, but for this situation, I don't think that it is, right? If anything, this is just showing you like who you can and cannot trust, right? Set your sights higher, increase your standards, expect more for yourself, don't settle. So the universe is saying, like, if you feel like you're coming out of a bag on people, that's actually part of the process, right? You're not supposed to settle for the way people are treating you. You're not supposed to settle for situations that are making you feel triggered or uncomfortable, right? Because that shows something that needs to heal. But that also shows you something about the people that are putting you in those situations. I feel like the universe is trying to elevate you at this time, Taurus. You just have to be willing not to settle for mediocrity. As far as your twin, if it feels like they kind of have some financial issues, this definitely doesn't mean that you need to rush into anything with this person, but I probably wouldn't continue to give someone my time that makes me feel uncomfortable, this water energy, because it looks like there's too much going on here. They're actually kind of committed elsewhere, so I wouldn't keep dealing with that. And maybe that's something that you need to set your sights higher. Maybe this is something that you experienced in your last relationship where it felt like your last lover was always comparing you to their ex, right? That's kind of what this energy is and what they would do. All right. All right, Taurus, thank you so much for letting me read for you. And I will speak to all of you again very soon. But in the meantime, you take care. Bye.